Hello and welcome to another beautiful day today. We are glad to have you join us. You're watching Enterprise Morning on Enterprise TV. I'm Chinyere Igweodo.
And I am Henry Igwebike.
Of course, we'd love to hear from you what you think about our content. Do well to follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. Also visit our website at www.enterprisetvnews.com. Our guest for this segment is a social commentator and a veteran journalist. He's no other than Cyril Abako. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning. And welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Great to have you, Cyril. Let's head straight to the nations and to the papers rather, and see what we have. We're beginning with the Nation's newspaper this morning, and the big story here is Ibadan attack. Police launch manhunt for Abiola'S widow.
Yes, and the writer to the big story says orders backers of violent agitators on security radar. And the sub-writer here equally says suspects to be charged with treason and terrorism.
All right, let's turn our eyes to the bottom strip. We have 30 held for illegal mining. NDLEA arrests 50 drug suspects in 3 years.
Yes, and also on the bottom strip, we have another power grid collapse paralyzes businesses and all the activities in Nigeria.
And above the nameplate, we have APC suspends Ganduje's World Expo for 6 months.
Yes, and also on the top strip, we have Tinubu writes on Chibok girls says kidnapping must end. And also we have from the same story, a coroner blames Romani's death on parental neglect.
Okay, let's stay on the screening headline, Ibadan attack. Police launch manhunt for Abiola'S widow. And to expatiate more on the subject is Cyril Abako. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
All right, so this video came on yesterday. I think it happened on Sunday, right? And then it was all over social media yesterday. And then some people are criticizing MK Abiola'S widow. Some other people are saying maybe it's time for government to realize that the wedding or the honeymoon is over. I mean, maybe it's about time that we break away and then have a better country, so to speak. But consider MK Abiola, who was a trailblazer to Nigerian democracy, and this is his widow. What does this speak of his legacy?
Okay, MK Abiola was a man who eventually paid even with his own life.
Right.
And the democracy we enjoy today is largely traced to the sacrifice he made. He himself, businessman, politician, he was the candidate of the SDP in 1993. He was the presumed winner. Even the last government came to that point and how to acknowledge him, so to say, acknowledge the fact that he was the one who paid the price. Now officially declared June 12 Democracy Day in Nigeria. It was because of the price MKO paid. But where we are now is that a widow of his, one of them, was the one who inauspiciously made the recording to declare that the Yoruba nation or the Yoruba race of Nigeria was no longer part of the country. It won't be the first time that we'll be seeing that kind of declaration. But for me, I think it speaks to larger issues of Nigeria's identity crisis and her extremely prebendal politics that gives this sort of awareness that we're not part of what we say we are after all. And this coming from MKO's wife just maybe goes to tell us that even the best of us can do the worst things if we're not, if as a collective, we wouldn't put the cat before the horse all the time. I think what should even bother us the more is that the Yoruba as a people are a very organized clan. They are a united province. They are people who like to speak with one voice largely. Even where they seem to be divided in the opinions, when it comes to action, you see them mostly coming together to act as one. Now, I don't know if you've observed that not very many groups, not very many vocal people have come out to, let's just say, either condemn or support Ms. Abiola'S broadcast.
Okay, so that means they're sitting on the fence.
No. Maybe the viewer can make his own decision
Okay.
after that. But Southwest governors, as at yesterday, had mounted security checks at their government houses
Okay.
to prevent any or to forestall any uprising by so-called Yoruba nation agitators. But that's what the governors are doing, which is what I think they would normally do. But there are voices in Yoruba land that when you hear, you know that this is Yoruba speaking. I'm not sure I have personally heard them either in the diaspora or locally.
Okay.
Speaking up, you know, the way, I mean, when it comes to issues of fiscal federalism, issues of going back to taking Nigeria back to its glory days, they've always had a sort of blueprint, a template. Awolowo, for example, wrote books and books and books on what Nigeria should be. And his disciples over the years, I mean, when they speak, you know, the Jumto struggle, the Nameko struggle was mostly domiciled here in the southwest. There were Igbos among them, but it was more or less a Yoruba struggle. Good. So, but the way we have them, I am so somehow I think that maybe the argument has to go beyond Mr. Abiola. What do we all think about Nigeria? Would we rather stay, or would we rather run away? I think that's where the problem now is.
All right. So while we keep, hoping that continue to make a headline news, I think let's move to another story. And this is on the power grid collapse, of course, that's paralyzing businesses and other activities in Nigeria, particularly at a time when Nigeria and those that have that are running it have classified our people in accordance to cadre, A, B, C to E. Now the question is, with the power collapse, how do they justify the fact that those in Band A should not complain?
They will tell you the collapse of the grid is the exception and not the norm. But I don't want to hold forth for them. These people are thieves. I said it on radio one time. I said the discos are the enemies of the Nigerian people. I declare them public enemy number one. The discos are they are bandits. They're a band of thieves and rogues.
How would you say that?
They don't wish Nigeria any good. They don't.
So when you talk about discos, who are we referring to here?
No, how many discos do you have? You have the discos at the disco so named after the cities in which they are found.
Okay.
In Abuja, in Kaduna, in Port Harcourt, and so on. They are there. What are they doing for Nigerians? Disco companies that, you see, there's something about this. The issue is bigger than what we can even discuss in an hour here. But these are companies, you know, they play with the worst of underhanded tactics. You won't believe what they can do. I think that they are just companies with big logos and fine offices, but in their minds, they behave like Osho the touts. They are not better than people that sell wares at Ochanja Market. They are not. Look at their attitude. The collapse of the grid has become a normal thing. They are there to tell you that it collapsed, but they're fixing it. It collapsed, but they're fixing it. How many times will it collapse in a year? Or even in a month? Shouldn't you be ashamed? I personally don't. These discourses are, look, you know, I've said it here before, Henry. I don't know if you recall.
Yeah, very well.
If I was president of Nigeria, we will so decentralize power, we won't need any discourse to do anything for us.
So why wouldn't we have it
I'll
now?
make power free of charge for all Nigerians. Free of charge. And it's very possible to do. It's possible to do. Elsewhere where we bought, and the government is even acting in cahoots with them. Elsewhere in the world, the IMF is telling government, take subsidies of, take subsidies of. In America, where the IMF is operating from, the American government pays subsidy on power. They pay subsidy on power. So why is the IMF telling them to take subsidy of? They take subsidy of. These discos don't have capacity and wherewithal to. Let me even ask you, the discos that are giving power with transformer and electricity poles, how many of them do they put in place? People living in towns and estates buy transformer by themselves.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, they contribute to.
So
to
what are these discos invested in the power sector to warrant this thing that are doing?
So eventually, this might be a systematic issue, isn't it?
Obviously.
Very true. Well, let's move on to the Punch newspaper for today. And we have still talking about power scarcity in Nigeria. We have the bigger story here, vandalism worsens grid collapse as gas shortage slashes power supply.
And the rider?
Yes.
TCN discos blame gas shortage, vandalism for frequent collapses. Firms beg customers. The sub rider goes, TCN plans fresh investments in power infrastructure as grade collapses sixth time in 2024.
Yes, all right. On the top strip of the same newspaper, we have Naira nears 1,000 Naira to the dollar at parallel market.
Also on the top strip, Dangote modular refineries to pay naira for crude.
And also we have just close to the same story, state police, police law amendment may take 2 years.
All right.
All right, so we just finished talking about the power collapse, and here we have on the Punch newspaper also the big story about power collapse. Of course, now they are blaming vandalism, and gas shortage as the problem. You did say this ends the problem.
No, that's you are a journalist and presenter. You're tracing it to the problem, right?
Yes.
What they want you to see is not vandalism. What they want you to see primarily is that they are planning fresh investments, which is a lie. You see, anybody who has an audit of the power sector in Nigeria should understand what the challenges are, and should not, engineering is made to prevent all the things that happen in this country. So, for example, if you come into the sector and you realize that the transmission infrastructure is weak, you don't need to wait for when the power grid collapses before they start thinking of how to fix it. You don't do that. Is that okay?
True.
You don't ever do that. Now, let's even pick some very minor, negligible things. When you want to pay, when you want to resubscribe for your pay TV, what do? You use your phone, transfer the money, right? And once you enter the code or whatever it is, right in front of your screen comes up. You don't need to call any third party or buy any token from somebody on the road. It's automatic. Even if you went on the road to a side vendor, if you give them your number, your decoder number, and you pay the money, once they do it there and then, automatically your subscription comes back alive immediately.
Right.
True.
Why don't you have the same for power? Why do you have to first print the token out and go and stand on maybe use a ladder to climb to the third floor and open the
And search for network.
Is it that technology has not reached that part? It's not true. The issue of vandalism is a security issue. Okay? And because you're feeding everything into one spot, everybody is looking at that place. And so there will be a lot of traffic of thieves and everything.
Absolutely.
Why don't we decentralize that grid issue and make it what can what can be decentralized? That's one. Then number two, they talked about lack of gas.
Yes.
The minister that they went to now form a committee, a committee for gas supply. Meanwhile, in places like University of Ibadan and Luf and all the leading hospitals in Nigeria, doctors are using their phone flashlight to be dressing, and now they say that they no longer work again. How does that even make us know? How do we even feel about these things as government or even as citizens? There's a way someone will give an excuse about why something not done. That the thing is no longer about the excuse. The person is unwilling to get that thing done, and that's where we are.
Speaking of being unwilling to get things done, I like that you said if you were the president of Nigeria, you would give power for free.
Yes, I will. I
So
will.
tell us what this government is not doing right. Is it the unwillingness to do right or not having the capability to do right?
I think it's both, but the first thing is the unwillingness. The second thing is that, you see, to get now, for example, there are Nigerians who I won't name the country for you, but I'll tell you two things. There are Nigerians who are in some Africa, in a particular African country. They are the ones writing power policy and fixing power infrastructure, and they have lights in that country. There's a Nigerian Prize for Science that is awarded annually. Nigerian Prize for Science, and the other one is Prize for Literature. The one for literature, they rotate it. This year, children's literature, the following year, prose, the following year, poetry, the following year, drama. The one for science, a lot of Nigerian engineers and scientists have applied for that prize. Some have won, some didn't win. Some of them are pushing innovations in power, innovations in all kinds of things. If you're a willing government, what I think you should have done is to summon all those people together and say, you guys are researchers in power and electricity and so on. Give us an answer in 2 days. They will give it to you. Just like Nigerian female engineers told the president that you should give them Port Harcourt that will make it work in 1 year. Now, ever since they talked of that in December, that they said they've gone to Port Harcourt refinery, that it will
start
how
working.
many drop of oil has it produced? This is April. They said the engineers are going on Christmas break, that they will come. I say, it's a lie. Look, listen. Engineers, we don't go on break. Journalists don't go on break. Power sector should not go on break. Hospitals should not go on break.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? That they went on Christmas break. I know say this thing where they talk. Don't be true.
All right.
You get the point?
Yeah.
So if Nigerians are making this thing work in other countries, why can't they make it work in their own country? Meanwhile, they said they went to is it Egypt or where Germany to bring Siemens.
Yeah.
Buhari played that card, it didn't work. Now Tinubu has come back and he's played that same card. You think white people come here to do business where they will not make gain? You think they don't know what is going on? If even you locally cannot deal with vandalism and theft, that's why you expect them to come and invest, because they work a miracle that nobody can gainsay. Is that really true? I don't agree with that.
All right, thank you so much, Cyril. Let's now head straight to the Vanguard.
All right.
And the big story here, more pressures on pockets as food inflation rises to 40%. And the rider goes, high electricity tariff to drive further rise.
Yes, and we have on the bottom strip of the same newspaper, or your invasion. Yoruba nation sponsors promised to end my hunger. That's coming from one of the female suspects.
And on the top strip, we have Army lacks powers to deny Oboveri journalists access. And this is credited to Delta stakeholders and Falana.
All right, let's come to Lagos. Illegal traffic enforcement, miscreants take over Lagos roads.
All right, still on the top strip, we have federal government still subsidizing petrol in trillions of naira. And this is credited to ex-Governor El-Rufai. And this is a story I would like to take on with our analysts this morning. Federal government still subsidizing petrol in trillions of naira. And this is coming from El-Rufai. What do you make of this?
I wanted to allude to it earlier. Now, two things are happening. One, of course, I'm aware that there's some form of subsidy being paid on petrol. Okay? For two reasons, or even more. One is the fact that the so-called landing cost of petrol went high. This was last year. This was around November, October. It went high because they floated the dollar, the naira, and the dollar rate skyrocketed, which meant that the landing cost of petrol also took a flight because it's a dollarized exchange transaction.
Yeah.
But as at that time, the federal government made sure that the pump price of fuel didn't go up. So if I was bringing in petrol at, let's say, 80 naira per liter into Nigeria, and I was selling it in Lagos at, let's say, 150, and the landing cost changed. I was now bringing it in at, let's say, 100 naira per liter, and the pump price didn't change from 150. It means somebody is paying for the difference. That was what happened. Government didn't say anything. We said, you are paying subsidy now. They didn't say anything. 2 months ago, is it next? No, it's not next. So let me not misquote it. Was it Pinnacle Oil or so?
Okay.
The CEO of Pinnacle at the round table said the government was now paying up to 1 trillion naira per month for subsidy. The government didn't counter that claim. They didn't come out to say you are lying with it, because a private sector operator cannot come and accuse federal government of something like that. He will do this. He will do so in Juba with his license. You know what I mean? So, but they didn't counter him. But of course, I didn't need him to say it. We already knew. He only came to put a figure to it. Now, between a government that was paying 400 billion naira for subsidy every month, they said it was not sustainable. And now a government that is paying 1 trillion naira per month on subsidy. I don't know who the bigger thief is. Then you have the problem of government also paying more money to the state because subsidy has been taken off. I don't know, the mathematics of the economics looks like voodoo, because it's not adding up. But more money is going to the states, more money is being paid as subsidy. Somebody needs to explain where they're getting all the monies from. But one thing I know is, if you transfer that money into power, we'll have a power thing like this.
Very true. All right, so while we talk about that, I actually wanted to ask you this, but I think there's another story we want to talk about. The question I had wanted to ask you was, why do you think it's coming from El-Rufai, knowing that he is one of those, biggest ally of Asiwaju Bola Tinubu?
So I don't think that alliance is still in force. That alliance, I think, has collapsed. I can say that with my full chest, in light of what I've observed, not that I've been told, but I mean, it's clear. El-Rufai was denied the ministerial slot.
Right.
As far as politics goes, he was denied the slot. The second issue was that Now, I'm not sure he was the one who nominated the person who came from Kaduna State to replace him. Then, he has been hobnobbing with the SDP. And he's taking his time on how maybe to form the position against Tinubu's government. But clearly, that alliance has broken down. So, it remains to be seen how they move from there.
Right?
Yes, I am actually tempted to ask this for the want of time, but just in a brief, right? Let's go international for a bit. I think it's very important. Do you think...
Iran,
yes, exactly. Do you see Israel striking back?
No, they won't.
They won't? With what you know about Israel?
They will forgive Iran.
Really?
Right.
But if you don't mind saying it, I think Israel is not striking yet.
Okay.
Because they don't want to just strike anything. I suspect that they are targeting Iran's nuclear project. They want to strike and ground it for once and for all. That's what I see coming.
Wow.
All right.
So let's wait for escalation, though.
Yes, we have been speaking with Cyril Abako, a social commentator, a numero uno, and also a vast journalist in all respect. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so very much for having you. So when we return, Abdullahi Ganduje is suspended or not suspended? That's the big question hanging over the crisis rocking the Kano State chapter of the APC. Details in a bit when we come back. Please don't go anywhere.